from Australia we went down under for Revolution Radio on revolution.radio. Home to ideas. Many, many wonderful ideas. Also conversations.
Well, yes.
Let's say that again real fast. Conversations in the chat room. That's right, we're in there. I think Dave's in there. I'm sure you're in there. So I'm saying hi to Comet. I'm saying hi to Narara, of course. Dave is there. Whoa, that's a
Sergeant Miller.
Sergeant Miller is there. That's right. Beautiful. Fantastic. Joe Bear is there as well. Nicely done. Now, the station is not actually supported by any organization, non-governmental or otherwise, or anyone else for that matter, except for you, the listener. So please, if you can, donate. Any currency, crypto is good. It's all good. It's all good. But if you cannot donate, that's okay too, because, as we keep saying, times are tough all over. They just are. We'll talk about that in a second. And tell people about the station. Do not let it dissuade your poverty from talking to people. Talk to people. Tell them about the station. Maybe one of those good folk can donate. Because we really do need your money to keep the station going. It's just how it is. Today is the 2nd of April, 2024. Happy birthday, Dave, for yesterday. Turned 32 yesterday, Dave. 32.
Nice.
Spring chicken. Look at him. You can catch the cave on the air, on the line, all the time. I can't help it. And onto your smart device. So grab an app to listen anywhere or listen at home on a great table of digital radio. Archives are free. Another good reason to donate. Archives are free. Before we start broadcasting at you in anger, we would like to acknowledge the traditional custodians of the land from which we broadcast. And for Dave,
it's still the punch along.
But for much longer, I'm sure. And for myself, of course, it's the Iraq people, which in Pemmelway here, it was a very strange day weather-wise. But we would like to pay our respects to elders, past, present, and future. Thank you very much.
Totally true.
Yeah, sorry. I listened to an economic analysis today.
Oh.
And what that, my life is full. Well, my cup runneth over.
It's like when I watched, was it the Parliament time thing?
But it's the same.
Yeah.
And what we're in right now apparently is called immaculate. I want to get the right. I'm going to turn my economics. Let me just.
Well, it's not conception. I'm just going to go there.
No. Immaculate. Here we go. Yeah, here we go. It's called immaculate disinflation. Okay? If you haven't heard this term before, that's okay. It's a new thing. It's a new term because, it's about a year old or so, maybe a bit older. It's called immaculate disinflation. Now, what does that mean? Okay, what it means is that
this is all you. Good luck.
I know. What? No. Essentially, right? We had very steep interest rate rises over the last couple of years. In Australia, in the world, interest rate rise up, which led in some countries to a recession, and a planned recession, in order to keep inflation under control. It's like taking a sledgehammer to repair Rolex. Just keep hitting it harder, Dave. Come on, what you doing? Just hit it harder. It'll fix itself just by hitting it harder. But that's what they're doing with interest rates. Interest rates to fix inflation is like hitting a Rolex with a sledgehammer. Anyway, so that's what they're doing. And one of those things that is meant to happen when you do that is the unemployment rate goes up. The unemployment rate goes up because you're depressing spending, which might lead to job cuts, right? Because profits are down, revenue is down, so companies have to lay off people. That's the theory, right? Except that didn't happen. Our employment numbers are phenomenal, right? We're really, it's high employment we're suffering at the moment, right? Which doesn't seem to help things.
Hang on a minute.
That is called
suffering high employment.
Suffering high employment. Yeah. See, this is the thing. About 50 years ago, I think, no, actually, longer than that. I think we're talking pre-World War, either just pre-World War II or just post-World War II. Full employment meant full employment. Like, what a shock. So, if Australia was talking about full employment, what they actually meant, the Reserve Bank as well, or the Federal Reserve here, what they meant was that everybody has a job. Like, full employment meant full employment. That is no longer what it means, and it's no longer what is meant by it, because apparently economists figured out, because they're much smarter than we are, everybody, just so we're clear. They said, oh, no. See, you have to have a certain number of people unemployed in the economy.
That's a good thing, is it?
Yeah. It's better for the full employment is no good. Right? There are various reasons. I won't go into it, but if you want to amuse yourself, look at the reasoning behind it. Okay. So, but that's what they. But then afterwards, so full employment never really meant full employment anymore after that little thing.
And it just means low unemployment, right?
Well,
actually, no, it's seasonally adjusted. Who cares?
Seasonally, sure.
It's whatever we want it to be today.
I've given up, but the point is, it is a nonsense in my opinion. Right? Full employment should be full employment. Everybody in a healthy. This is the key thing here, right? In a healthy, productive economy, everybody should be able to get a job. Of course, it's not possible in reality, but unemployment should be as low as possible. But in economic terms, that's a bad thing, because what controls prices then? If people have money to spend, they just want to spend more stuff, and if productivity doesn't catch up with demand, then you get inflation, and that's where we are, which is called, again, a complete nonsense, because inflation is driven by corporations, in my opinion. And you can disagree with me, that's fine. But corporations and their super profits, as well as the bonuses they pay themselves, that's what's driving inflation, in my opinion. And in Australia specifically, look at the super profits that the banks walk away with, the miners, everybody, right? And now the grocery stores too. And globally, the biggest windfall that the global parasites ever had, the biggest windfall, was 2008, the economic crisis, where trillions, I'm informed, trillions of dollars were pumped into failing banks. And those banks promptly took those trillions. So thank you very much, Mr. Taxpayer. I really love that. So good. And paid themselves massive bonuses. Okay. And that's what actually happened. If you haven't watched the movie The Big Short, and please,
that's great, isn't it?
Yeah, just because it's a movie doesn't mean it's not true.
That's correct.
It is probably the best treatment I've seen of that particular period in time. I mean, it's easy to understand. It really is. And you get to see all the main players, and some of them became completely disillusioned. I mean, what? And there was a really smart guy. He's played by Christian Bale, who figured it out years before it actually happened. And there's one commodity, the real guy, I'm not Christian Bale the actor, but the real guy that Christian Bale plays, there's only one commodity this guy still invests in. Now remember, he predicted The Big Short. Mm-hmm. He made billions of dollars for his fund. Billions. He actually, he tried to talk to the government. And he tried to tell the government what was happening. Even afterwards, he tried to get in touch with him. Nobody was interested. The FBI contacted him, though, and he was also audited by the IRS several times. But nobody wanted to know what he really had to say. Right? So the only thing he invests now is water. That's all he invests in. Water. So, immaculate disinflation. So they can't quite understand it. Why is it that interest rates are going up? So that should lead to businesses shutting down or cutting costs.
They have more debt responsibility. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but it's not happening, right? And according to our Reserve Bank governor, whatever her name is, I forget her name, she's new. Unemployment is too low. She wants more people out of work. Now, to say this and to really believe it takes a special kind
of evil.
What is insidiousness?
Yeah, that'll do.
it,
I'm sure there's a word that describes it, Mackie.
we are so mismanaged. I mean, the global economy is dead. Go ahead and do your own research. Don't just go to Wikipedia. Don't just go online.
Wikipedia.
Just go and look at some economic textbooks. Even look at the Austrian School of Economics, and then what they think about all of this as well. But there are economists out there that are saying we're in a death economy. We're in a death, not debt, but death economy.
That's right.
Which it's done. This economy.
It's on
can no longer
recess at the
function.
moment.
Sorry?
It's on recess. It'll be turned off soon.
Oh, yeah, but there's nothing. I mean, it reminds me of the Simpsons episode when you see Mr. Burns' heart. It's all dusty, cobweb, right? And it's just trying to get some life into it. And that's really what this is like.
Smithers,
we talk about...
What's that in my chest? Yeah. Oh, that's right, sir.
Exactly.
That takes me back.
Exactly. That's right. See, the Roman Empire didn't know it was dead.
That's right.
It just kept going through the motions. It didn't know. It just it was too big and cumbersome. But eventually, of course, it collapsed, and with quite some effect on the rest of the world. And this is very similar. Our economic system, and I don't care where in the world you are, really, I don't really care. Our economic system that we have pushed up into everyone's face, if you will, the American model, because that's what this is now, the American model, by way of the city of London, of course. Yeah? Not London, but the city of London, the financial heart of the planet. It was pushed on everybody. This insane, unregulated, free market capitalism, which any half sensible person would look at this and go, this can't work. What about the social element? And so you say that, you're communist, right?
That's
you
right.
Can't say that, Dave. What? Except, of course, we have countries that are not communist countries, okay? You wouldn't even call them socialist countries, but they're social democratic countries where the government has a certain responsibility to its citizenry, okay, in terms
Mostly
of
South
healthcare.
American, is that correct, Mickey?
Yeah. Healthcare. There's healthcare. There's education. There's transportation. There's aged care.
Yeah.
It's Venezuela, Cuba, believe it or not.
That's right.
All the Scandinavian countries, Germany, Great Britain to some extent. A lot of European countries follow that model. Now, a European politician with a social lean, let's say, right, so slightly left of center. If that person went to America, they would be thrown in jail as a flaming communist. That's what would happen. Because in America, I don't know what that. I struggle to understand why that is. Such a rich country, and the funny thing is this labor movement, right? The strong unions. They were very active in the early days in America, the early 20th and late 19th century. There's a very strong labor movement in the States. Right? I mean, it was in Europe, yes, it was there, but it was also in America. Very, very strong, right? And it just seems to have evaporated. I don't know how, why, but certainly what you have now is nowhere near what you once had. Less than 100 years ago, 80, 90 years ago, right? Where people looked out for each other and after one another. And over the last 80 years or so, certainly after World War II, the drive has been to make the few richer and most of us poorer. And by wrecking other nations, I'm talking from an American point of view, wrecking other nations, wrecking other economies, utilizing their resources. In fact, just really having these nations that seem to exist, outside America, just as like an organ bank. You know when
Yeah, that's right. Like a mosquito needs people. That's right.
Yeah, it's
Rome did the same
amazing. Because America, United States, Rome was the same. All great empires were the same. They are parasitically exploiting all of their, well, I guess we call them client nations, or nations within their sphere of influence, as it were. And it's extended massively now. China is trying to do the same thing, slightly differently, right? Russia did the same, or the USSR did the same thing.
That's correct.
Like all these great powers do similar things. And nobody has got the high ground, the moral high ground. America is just as bad as China. China is just as bad as the USSR. There's no one here that can claim the moral high ground and say, oh, look at us, we're doing such a wonderful job with the world. It's just.
But guess what?
And yeah.
Guess what? So, when we saw one country, the economy morph or slowly transition to another, that's different to now, right? That's what I see. I think it's completely different. I think we're currently witnessing the transition to the WEF's Great Reset, because inflation's the same everywhere. I watch all the news. I watch the news from all the tons of countries, and it's all exactly the same noise. It's the same. How can it be the same? Surely we have different trade balances. Surely our currencies are doing well compared to each other. Surely not all of us are, I'm going to say, beholden to big oil, and it's been, in Australia, the primary reason for inflation, and then secondary and tertiary reasons have been just pure greed, right? Crushing the little people, right?
Yeah.
Super profits, and I believe that these are all valid terms to describe it. But at the same time, you're expanding the moat around between us and the super wealthy. And the super wealthy are the people who have designed the new economy that we're slowly transitioning to. And I'm sure each of these steps are completely planned, in my opinion.
Most of it is following a playbook. I mean, of course, the hiccups. And bear in mind, just because there's a playbook doesn't mean you can't kick over the apple cart, to make some metaphors here.
That's right.
We can still do the old sabotage, throw our wooden clogs into the machine and make it stop, because it'll crush us. I know it sounds dark, but it will be.
Yeah.
It will be. We all have this image of the future. It could be like both dystopian and utopian futures. And I'll be honest with you, if they get to do what they've been planning to do for a long time now, and I don't care if you say, all these conspiracies are nonsense and you know what you're talking about, then I say to you, okay, so what you're saying to me is, if you're extremely rich and all your buddies are extremely rich and you're all in the same club, you would not do anything to make sure that you stay extremely rich and powerful, right?
Oh, no, surely not.
Am I right?
We would do everything, Mickey, to stay rich and powerful. Oh, did I say that out loud?
Good. I certainly think so. You would do anything you had to
remain,
to stay there, and that's the main purpose. The main purpose of all of the institutions that we have, all the laws, all the bureaucracies, all of it. The main purpose is to maintain the status quo. Mm-hmm. That's it. Change is bad for these people. They don't want it. Sorry. Change, yes, but only if they control it. If they control the change,
it's good.
Sweet bananas. No problemo.
That's right.
We can do that. Yeah. But if you want to bring change, you know what? I'll tell you what. Just stand next to the open window over there. See what happens. And that's where we are.
It's very
There's
slippery
no other
over
reason.
here.
Hey! There's no other reason for any of this. Because, look, Dave and I have spoken about this at length now. And in fact, I just had a reminder on Facebook. We've been on the air for 12 years, Dave.
That's right.
12 years!
Glorious years.
Oh, look, I'm eternally grateful to both you and Nighthawk to give us this opportunity. But the point is that we've spoken about this, and this is a fact. This is the truth. It is actually against human nature to not conspire to stay in power.
Mm-hmm.
It would be completely unthinkable. It'd be a stupid thing to say. It doesn't make sense.
It's just taking your foot off the accelerator, you know?
Yeah, I mean, you wouldn't. You just wouldn't. You wouldn't not do it. Of course, you would get together. And these societies exist on all the in all the major universities in the world, the old universities, where the elites go, which are very expensive universities. They handpick people on scholarships, etc., etc.
Mm-hmm.
But all these people, they go to these universities and they, essentially, to make sure they're of one mind. They form these secret societies. They are real. The secret societies are real. Okay? No, I'm not talking about the Freemasons. Not at all.
No.
This is a whole different thing. And in fact, I would
there's
say...
another group that presented themselves to me, which I won't mention again. Good luck with that.
Yeah. But the point is, in my opinion, this is just my opinion, right? From all the reading I've done, from all my historical research, etc., all my interests over the years, I feel that the Freemasons came in a straight line from the Knights Templar, and they were actually working toward the good, if you want to call it, the greater good. The great work was the greater good. Now, I don't want to go into detail here because it would take too much of an explanation to explain why the greater good would appear quite nefarious, but it's only because history has been turned upside down. Okay? So just trust me when I say this to you. I think those are actually not the bad guys. The bad guys are the people that come together in Skull and Bones, that come together in these smaller groupings, the Club of Rome, the Bilderbergers, and all of these organizations, Council of Foreign Relations, the Bohemian Grove, yes, that's a fun. And all of those, because they only have one purpose. They only have one purpose, and that purpose is to maintain the status quo. That's it. That is it. Now, I would like to think that both Dave and I, and I'm speaking for Dave now, if we were in a position of power, I would like to think that we would not forget the people, all the people. I would like to think that we would try to help everybody and make everybody's life better. I'd like to think so. I'm sure a lot of people like that, like us, exist out there, right? Because, but maybe those guys never make it to the positions of power. Maybe they're weeded out before they get anywhere near it, right? Because that would upset the upper card. And this goes way back, by the way. Way back. On Mount Olympus, the original parasites, the gods there, right? I think the story is metaphorical, but also, I think, somewhat documentary, and not just metaphorical. The gods would, on occasion, and it's the same in the Babylonian pantheon, by the way, the gods would on occasion decide to let humans in. Usually humans that had interbred with the gods.
Mm-hmm.
Right? So Hercules, for one, right? He was allowed to.
They were hybrids.
Yeah. Now, Gilgamesh was allowed to come because his mother was one of the gods, but he wanted help for his friend. He didn't want to leave his friend behind. He was a complete human. Well, not like Gilgamesh. And they denied entry, so Gilgamesh didn't get in either. And there's a whole story on that, read it yourself if you want. But on occasion, they will let people in. For the most part, they do not. And no, this is not Elon Musk, and this is not Bill Gates. In my opinion, either they weren't read in at all, or they were only read in on the parts that they could specifically
Play.
help with.
Mm-hmm.
Does it make sense?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they wouldn't have, excuse me, they wouldn't have been read in properly at all, in my opinion.
So,
And they don't
okay,
consequently.
yeah, I'm gonna throw something in here. So Enlil was reported to have tried to save people from the flood.
Yes, correct.
Yeah. So
There's always a
all
figure.
the others were like,
tries, yeah.
let them die.
Yeah.
And he's like, no, actually, I know a few of them, and they're all right.
They're good folk.
Yeah, they're not all bad. I mean, sure, there's tons of bad going on, but they're not individually. They're not all bad. So, would we be lucky enough? I haven't got the golden ticket, so I don't think I'm included. But if there were some way of saving people from it, I don't think they're going to bring them along. I don't think we're going to be. Oh, what was that movie with the time in the wrist? Where he gave all the time away to everybody.
Oh, just in time or out of time?
Yeah, whatever the movie was where the time was shown in your wrist, and you could give it to someone else. I don't think we're going to be, sitting casually at a table discussing current affairs with them, but if we were able to, as the surface dwellers, at least survive something and get by. You see, the big problem is, Mackie, and I know we've mentioned this before, but to this audience right now, tonight, right here, the ultra wealthy still have to lord over people, and so they do need us as the subclass to lord over, otherwise their lives are useless.
That's true, but not all of us.
No, they don't need all of us. No, they're just enough to get all the work done that they don't want to do, and so they can continue their life, and we're downtrodden because that makes them feel better.
Yes.
How can they have such a contrasting existence without us being on the other end of that scale?
And before you say Dave has lost his marbles, just think about this for a second here. The plan is to turn the Earth into a parkland for parasites. Now, okay, so all this, even if there were 500 million of us left, let's say, right? Because that's the number everybody's talking about, 500 million. Where do they all go? I mean, that's still a lot of space taken up by non-parkland. That's no good, right? So what happens? Well, you are in a 30-minute city now, right?
That's right.
So, like this thing they're building in Saudi Arabia, which is this massive glass wall type thing. The line, yeah.
You can't leave the building,
Well, why would you want to, Dave? Why would you want to leave the building?
Oh, probably because the black mold on the inside. Because they're just
building
building a glass box. Have you ever seen what a terrarium looks like on the inside? It's hideous.
Oh, it's not good.
You'll evolve into a prawn who can eat all of the algae on the walls.
Nice, I like it. Well, maybe that's the plan. The Morlocks and the Eloi, except
and we'll all get smaller. We'll all get smaller because we'll be taking too much of the tank up. And so only the small will be able to have just enough nourishment. That's the way I see it.
Let's just have a potato. Just have a potato. But these plans are being put into action. House ownership, in Australia, was a given when I came.
Yeah.
In the 80s, and certainly in the 50s, everybody was able to buy a house. Everybody, like
2.3 children
if you had a job
with a white picket fence.
Yeah, it wasn't a dream. It was something that you could aspire to and actually achieve.
That's absolutely true. Yeah.
America was very similar, maybe more so because there were these land races where you could just stake a claim and get some land for yourself. Right? Oh, it was brutal, but the dream could be fulfilled. Europe, different story. A lot more renters. That's historical, but in Europe, the renters have a lot of rights. As the landlord, you're actually on the back foot in Europe. Anyway, so what changed? Why is that dream no longer possible?
The cost of living and the jobs don't pay it. Mackie, I saw a quick graph, which I tried to find but I couldn't find again. I saw a quick graph displayed on the news the other day in Australia, in the morning news, just to make your day even brighter, and it showed the cost, or the wage that you needed to live in that area, to buy a house in that area. In Sydney, basically, it was $389,000 a year to get a mortgage today for a house that's for sale today.
To live in.
Yeah.
But not just to look at.
I bought a picture of a house for much less. And up here, it was about 100,000 less, or in Brisbane, or thereabouts, right? And I just went, wow, who was getting those jobs? I mean, who? Because they can't be many people. Those aren't, they're upper management roles. And so I know a lot of people that aren't up there in the management roles. So where are they living? Oh, they're living in a house that they bought a long time ago, or they're renting. And that whole thing about New York and real estate costs are outrageous in New York. You couldn't buy a place unless you were on millions a year, right? And so it's the same thing. It's the same thing in Sydney. We have a limited amount of space, like New York has, and that drives the price up. Plus, foreign ownership right drives the price up as well. And it's incredible. In Australia, I've always known that the price of the property doubles approximately every 10 years. That's whatever all the investment properties use as a calculator.
That's about right.
Yeah.
That's about right. Yeah.
One decade may be a bit less, one's a bit more, but that's the average. And so it's astounding because you might grow up in a suburb that your parents could afford to buy in originally. You can't buy in that suburb anymore when you grow up to be old enough to buy. It's totally different. The US is totally different. They don't have that crazy house price increase every decade. They just don't have it. Because you can give your keys back, right? It's the bank's problem.
No, exactly right. That's why. But still, I mean, millions of people were made homeless in 2008. That's a fact.
Yeah.
And that's just in America. And the thing is this. I find this amazing. I have plans. I plan A, B, and C, and so forth to ensure my financial survival, touch wood. After our family, that's touch wood. But ultimately, right? A lot of people don't have the luxury. They're just struggling. They're just trying to get by. It's really tough. It really is. And if you don't see what's happening, then you're blind. It is as plain as the nose on my face. There is no conspiracy here. It's in your face. It's in your. They're not hiding it anymore. It's not being hidden. They have said, "Oh, we've got too many people employed. Oh, you shouldn't really own anything. You'll be happy if you didn't." I'm paraphrasing.
That's right.
The Georgia Guidestones. We should
blown up.
There should only be 500 million. Yeah, it was blown up. There should only be 500 million people on the planet, right?
Yeah.
This is really interesting. The population control organizations, birth control, et cetera, forced sterilizations, unsuspecting people, chemical sterilizations, chemical abortions,
testing
et cetera.
People in Africa.
It's all happening.
Yeah.
I mean, look, I'm pro-life, yes, but I also believe in the woman's right to choose. So I'll be honest with you, as a man, I don't really have much to say, right? Except women need to be given the freedom and liberty to do what they need to do, and if whatever that decision is, right, society has to accept it. Because we're quite happy to suppress women for thousands of years and tell them what to do to their detriment, and still are in some countries of the world. I mean, in Afghanistan, girls can't go to school anymore. What? No, can't go to school. Can't do it. Can't be done.
Where did they ban women from driving again? I forget.
Well, I think Afghanistan is one, but Saudi Arabia, women are allowed to drive.
Yeah, that's right.
Now, they're allowed to drive now, but only with a male relative.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Well,
so,
that those rules, I can expect that they. When I see how much I suppose that we've evolved morally, are past there, and the drive occurred in several stages, and we can't expect everyone to just jump on board. But something really interesting, Mickey, I saw was photographs from Iran, Syria, Saudi Arabia, a lot of Muslim countries from the 70s and 60s, where the hijab wasn't considered the requirement that it is today.
The hijab is
hijab.
a cultural,
that's
not
right.
a religious artifact.
Yeah,
that's really important.
Women choose to wear it.
Well,
No, well, to their, so that they can respect their God.
yeah,
and
but
their
see, that's the thing. It's not religious.
I understand.
It is not in this. Like, Islam is not telling you should do that.
That's right.
It's a cultural artifact in Arabia.
Mm-hmm.
The Arabs have always veiled their women, and they did it well before Muhammad ever came along. Okay, that's why not all Muslim women are following those same. In fact, it's the same. It's the same in Europe, or it was the same in Europe, a couple of hundred years ago, where women were, or certainly nuns, would hide their hair.
Yes.
Why do you do it? It's modesty, right? It's a modesty thing, etc., etc. So it's not unique to Islam, and it is not, in fact, Islamic at all for women to cover themselves. That's a cultural artifact. And Muslims all over the world will wear different dress.
Mm-hmm.
It's just how it is. Anyway, but yeah, look, it's
And when I use the term culturally evolved past it, I think it was like a mutual respect that we've learned through several steps to get to. I'm not saying they're behind or anything. I'm not trying for any hatred. I don't want that. It's just that observation, I suppose, that I've made. And it's in my opinion. And once again, I'm not being awful. So if you go back 300 years in our own society, where we were, wasn't a good place compared to now.
No, completely.
So that's kind of my point there. But where we're going and what our trajectory is at the moment is also kind of a very strange place. It's kind of strange. And wasn't there a similar time in Roman history where it got, well, not quite as silly as now, but, kind of the same, and I don't know, didn't seem to work there. And how far are we willing to take it? Is there someone measuring our responses to how much of the envelope is being pushed back and remarking in private rooms in boardrooms. Look what we've done, sir. We've been able to set back both education and possibly the IQ of the nation. We've subdued them. If you're looking at stats on like a PowerPoint deck and someone's presenting to a whole boardroom of those, the 9 unknown men, for instance, going, look at all our successes over the last 2 decades. It's kind of the way I see it.
They're clawing everything, like the suffragette movement, the women's equalization, if you will, or it's always struck me as odd that we don't see women at large as equal, and that we have these notions, these antiquated notions of male superiority. Look, in the olden days when we were hunting, but even then, Dave, I want to say, no, because there are some tough women out there.
Oh, there are, yeah, totally.
So a woman, and in fact, in the Israeli army, women are serving in the same roles as men, for example.
Mm-hmm.
And so, and in the American army, more and more women are serving as well. So I find it ludicrous to put this gender-based division, especially in our day and age when gender seems to be fluctuating significantly. Or what gender actually is. I'm confused. Maybe I'm too old to live in this world anymore, but it's we have to come to terms with the fact that a person should be given person rights, irrespective.
That's right.
Of anything else. You're a person, so as a person, you're now given the right to liberty and pursuit of happiness, freedom, and all kinds of things, right? Irrespective of anything.
All right, so Meki's just jumped back in his Wayback Machine.
That's right.
back to a time when that was a thing, liberty, and
that was a thing.
Yeah, but it's not what it is anymore. So liberty's out the door, within certain, constraints, I suppose. Liberty's allowed. Talk about whatever you want as long as it's inside the box, and that's enough of that. Well, I remember, Meki, when I was growing up, I used to love the 60s and 70s movies, and in particular the carry-on genre.
Oh.
And they made fun of everybody, and it was okay.
Oh, yeah.
Because we could have a laugh.
That
and we did. We
couldn't make
laughed
any of those
at
movies,
ourselves. No, you can't make them now. No,
not a chance.
Not even. You can't even make Tropic Thunder now. They've said that.
Look, the truth is, none of the James Bond movies.
No, you couldn't make those either.
Back in the 50s, 60s, and 70s, can't make those. We can't make. You're right. Tropic Thunder. No. You can't make. Laurence Olivier. Shakespeare. He's a really good actor. He's a Shakespearean actor. He played Hamlet.
Yeah.
Sorry, Othello. He played
yeah.
Othello, a black character in Shakespeare, right? Could he do that today? Well, probably not. Probably not. And if you're asking yourself, but this is the theater. It's make believe to start with. This is what this is. This is not reality.
Uh-huh.
It's make believe. What if you've got a play that depicts Little Red Riding Hood? You have to get a real wolf to play the wolf.
Sure.
And if you're not a real grandmother.
No, we're going to do this in one take, people. It's a real wolf.
Yeah. Seriously though, right? Theater is a place where you just suspends your disbelief and you just go with it. You just feel it, you enjoy it. I enjoy the theater very much.
What about a pantomime, Meki? A pantomime where you have an evil witch on stage, and you can't have because it used to be a man dressed as the evil witch, and you can't do that anymore. So you actually have to audition real witches.
It all fell apart for me when they stopped the character of Apu and Simpson.
I know. I was going to say that.
That's when it all just. And I thought, what?
Yeah, you can't play a stereotype. You're not allowed to do that anymore.
I had my Hitchhiker's Guide moment then. I go, really?
Yeah.
I mean, did you ever watch The Simpsons? Do you understand the content of the show? Really? I think not. I think this outrage. This what? Outrage over what? What is outrageous? It's The Simpsons. The catchphrase in the first year is "Don't have a cowman" or "Eat my shorts." Those were the catchphrases.
Yeah.
What?
Caramba.
Yeah, I caramba. Don't have a cowman. I can't remember the last time Bart Simpson said "Don't have a cowman" or "Eat my shorts."
There was I saw one in series 23 or something, or 32. Yeah.
Oh, really?
Yeah. No, he did it because he met himself in the past.
Oh, well, that makes sense. No, that makes sense.
Yeah, it's funny.
You know?
It was like they made a whole new show out of not doing a clip show from the past.
Nice. That's what you need, clip show.
Yeah.
We have but it's all, of course, designed to direct us or to usher us into this new world, to herd us into the world of compliance, and it is so obvious, the drug epidemic, the
fentanyl,
the obesity epidemic,
yeah,
I mean, I don't know.
That's the overuse of sugar
system anymore.
Processed foods, yeah.
Yeah, and then the schools.
Oh, and then processed foods are cheaper than regular food.
Of course.
It's full of
high fructose corn syrup.
Yeah, and molasses in peanut butter. I'm just talking to you guys in America. So, Mickey, remember when you discovered that there was now a psychological expression to describe a person who just simply chooses to eat natural food?
Oh, it's a disorder. It's a mental disorder.
Mental disorder. There you go.
So look, it was the same time that grief was a mental disorder. So if you feel grief and you're crying,
yeah,
that's a mental disorder. If you're craving a healthy natural food, any kind of food really, that doesn't have preservatives and additives, etc.
Just not processed food, original foods, right? Just eating normally.
The food that our grandparents were eating, just there was nothing else.
That's
you
right.
had to eat that kind of food.
Yeah.
So you're right. Those are mental disorders. Now think about all of that, right? Wrap it all up in a nice little package, and the overall picture. I mean, look, at least the Romans could blame it on the lead.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah.
And they didn't know any better.
That's right.
Yeah, but they didn't know any better. We know better, and yet it is this slow creeping encroachment on everything. Where you by the way, the frog in the boiling water, that's a myth. But
I know it is.
It's a nice little analogy, where you have the frog in the water and it doesn't come out.
I correct everyone.
The temperature,
say it. Yeah.
Even if it boils alive, but in reality, that's not true. But it's a nice little picture, right? That's where we are. We're sitting in the water. The temperature's going up. Oh, it's quite nice. Oh, it's maybe getting a bit hot, but no, I'm going to stay in anyway. It's okay. It'll be all right. It's like when Bart Simpson asks in class, or he's told, "Oh, you're going to go to hell," and Bart goes, "Hooray! Are there pirates in hell?" And the teacher goes, "Yeah, hooray!" And you're going to be in pain. It's going to be hot. There's hellfire. Oh yeah, but is it like a spa where you get used to it eventually?
Wonderland.
No, it's not.
I texted you an image, which says everything we just said. It was by text, not in our chat.
My phone is downstairs. All good.
Oh, that's a shame. Oh, I'll put it into our chat. Hang on.
I look at you doing things differently. But it is certainly worth pondering, everybody. I mean, the puppet show we've been seeing on the walls of our caves is moving one direction, and because we don't know any better, we'll just go along with it. It's just okay. Well, yeah, okay. Is that what we're doing now? Is that okay? All right, I guess that's okay. We just go along, right? We just do our thing, and people will just march along. They won't know any better. In fact, they will ask for it, Dave. Something is going to happen, and they will ask for this outcome. Okay?
Totally.
That's what's going to happen.
Yep. I've just sent it to your Skype account.
Yeah, got it. Yeah. Oh, here we go. Oh, nice. That's gold.
Okay, so I without describing who they are, there is like the Brady Bunch, a bunch of pictures, and these are people who are appointed to current positions in government in the US and in popular culture, and their description does not describe who they are. It does, but it's kind of like, why have we made that choice? How have we taken that pill, Meki?
If you repeat something often enough, people will believe it. I think Goebbels said that.
Yeah, lies are good. The more you repeat it, the more true it is.
That's it. In fact, the bigger the lie, the better.
Yeah,
you see, that's also important. And I mean, everybody's joking. When a politician is lying when his lips are moving. Look, that's not actually funny because it's true. It's. But if that politician is not lying, then what they're saying is complete nonsense.
Mm-hmm.
In Australia, everybody's pushing for electrical this and vehicles and whatever and high, and solar panels. Look, I'm for it. It's good. But you have to understand the reality of it. You have to understand the cost of it. You have to understand that we are nowhere, in no way are we in any shape to have an all-electric transport system.
No, we can't.
We simply don't have the capacity. Our networks will fold. It is that simple. You will not be able to charge your cars or trucks, for that matter, let alone planes. And
so if you live anywhere in the world and you have power sharing, which means sometimes you get brownouts or sometimes you don't get any power at all, put your hand up. If you're in the world somewhere and your power companies or your government is advised that this summer we're going to have load problems, like base load problems on the network, already before EVs. This is the biggest problem that we face for this utopia that they've told us we're going to be living in tomorrow.
The one thing that I find most egregious is the fact that none of this is necessary.
That's right.
None of it. All these. See, just do yourself a favor and look up all these people that came up with alternative energy sources, alternative engines, alternative power mechanisms.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Look at what happened to them, and not one or two,
are they now?
But all of them. All of them. Right? They all fell out of windows. Well, with the politics speed.
Or fell down dead.
Some were never.
Car accidents and disappeared.
100%. All of them. Every last one.
Accidented. That's
every
my
last
favorite.
one. Yeah. Those are the ones that couldn't be bought off.
Mm-hmm.
Right? So this is the truth. There's no conspiracy here. It's just the truth. These people were disappeared. Now, it would never happen. A guy walked into the Saudi Arabian embassy in Istanbul, was killed and dismembered in the say-so of the Saudi prince. That never happened either. Well, what happened to the prince? He's fine.
Where was the outrage?
Thanks for asking.
Yeah,
he's good. He's okay. So don't tell me these things don't happen.
Mm-hmm.
Of course they happen. Don't be naive. See, this is it, therefore. This willful ignorance, because if you acknowledge to yourself, if you admit that these things are going on, then how can you live with yourself and not talk about it, and not do something about it? You see, this is the problem, Dave. That once you admit it, once you go, okay, well, it's a thing, then you feel compelled, if you're a normal person, to do something about it. Don't tell me. Really? Already?
All right.
Yeah, that's the music. So thank you so much for your time. We hope you enjoy our little streams of consciousness. This has been Plato's Cave, and don't go anywhere. I'm sure something else is going to come up. Donate if you can, but most importantly, be safe.